All right, just gotta share everything, you know, the usual. Make sure. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, I'm just sharing the live stream everywhere and then get set up. So maybe like a minute or two, wait for people to come in. Let's see. That one. It should probably have some like, I don't know, downtime music or something. Uh, well, while I'm doing all this. Let's see. Yeah, this would be if I knew how to go ahead and like schedule them ahead of time, because you can get all this like set up, like your description and all that. I gotta figure out how to do that so that way we don't have quite so much downtime before doing this. But hey, you know what? It's just us trying to figure it out the best we can, you know. This is not a professional channel. So I think that's saved. Oh, Joe Nice DJ is here. Brian Aguilar. Let me go ahead and switch over to live chat instead of top chat. I wish it would just stay on that. It's like, no, I want it to be filtered out. No, I do not. Oh, crazy. I actually like to see what everybody has to say. That and share it over here. So we're gonna. I've got one article that I really want to go through, and this is from like a year ago. Um, oh, hey, Jesse. Yeah, so this is from like a year ago, but I just thought it was really interesting because we're seeing a lot of overlaps. So I got one last thing to share, and then we're going to get started. Okay, yeah. Updates on privacy policy on Twitter. Yeah, I know. You're already like scanning all my information and selling it to the highest bidder. Got it. Oh, hey, Schultze. Yeah, just living the dream over here. Yeah, it is. All right. And we're gonna get started. Real for real. Okay. Hey y'all. This is Stevie with Redneck Economics, finally, after 3 minutes of updating everything. But it's good to see y'all here. Hey Tony. All right. So there's an article, and I started going down this rabbit hole of look, I've been vaccinated. I know within the first 5 minutes, I'm already saying the V word. Uh, but you know, I've had my vaccines growing up, right? I think I basically turned out to be a functional adult somewhat. Um, so I'm not anti-vax. So I'll go ahead and say that to start off with. But I found this article on the HPV vaccine, And it's crazy because there's so much overlap with what's being said now. So, okay, so we'll just get into this. Let me go ahead and share the screen. But it's the HPV vaccine Gardasil, and the side effects and what the company did in order to kind of fudge the numbers a bit, both during the studies and afterwards, and how they hid uh, ingredients to it, even though they were supposed to list all the ingredients. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. All right, so now it starts off with, now this was, and this is not, this is from a law firm, right? So this isn't from like a news source. So, we've already got, there's some bias there, but it goes on to talk about this poor teenager's story about how she was, more like, healthy, did cheerleading, all this stuff. And after she started getting the HPV vaccines, because there's like a set of 3 of them, every time she would get one, she would get sick. She would have to stay home from school, like all these things. She just started suffering, pretty bad from this. And then they figured it out that it was due to this vaccine. So the complaint against defendants, Merck and Company Incorporated, and subsidiary Merck, Sharp, and Dome Corporation, both of New Jersey, seek damages based on the following causes of action: negligence, strict liability, failure to warn, strict liability, manufacturing defect, breach of warranty, common law fraud, violation of Rhode Island's Deceptive Trade Practices Act. So the lawsuit also seeks punitive damages against Merck. According to the complaint, Merck failed to properly test Gardasil before the HPV vaccine was fast-tracked and administered to millions of young girls and boys throughout the United States and the world. Furthermore, Merck knew or had reason to know that its vaccine was defective and ineffective, but instead of warning the medical community and the public, the company wrongfully concealed information and further made false statements concerning the safety and efficacy of Gardasil. Now, does it sound familiar? A little bit? Merck spent more money marketing and advertising Gardasil than any vaccine manufacturer in history, says Gardasil lawyer Nicole K.H. Maldonado. The company made billions telling the parents of young girls that Gardasil could eliminate cervical cancer without having any proof to back up the claim. Now, with thousands of severe Gardasil vaccine injuries reported, we intend to hold Merck accountable for concealing known safety risks in the name of massive profits. Before there was a Gardasil, there was Vioxx, said attorney Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Merck paid billions to settle civil allegations that it purposefully hid Vioxx's cardiovascular risk. That's another thing that we're seeing right now, is it not? That we're seeing what it's doing. The current trend is in vaccines. They're seeing a huge cardiovascular risk for young adults. So Merck also paid $950 million in fines as a result of their criminal conduct. When Gardasil came along, the boardroom at Merck joked that its HPV vaccine could help pay for Vioxx. Sure enough, some of the same shadowy cast of characters who were involved in the Vioxx scandal worked on Gardasil, and they employed the very same methods of manipulating science and obscuring risks as they did with Vioxx. And just as with Vioxx, Gardasil has left a calamitous health disaster in its wake. Now, I remember hearing about the nefarious things that Merck did in regards to Gardasil for years now. The deaths and how they tested it on, poor Indian girls and all this. I mean, just I remember hearing about this for a while, and yet what is happening right now, we're witnessing like this fanatical, faith-based, like just worship of these big pharma companies. It's crazy. Like they don't do this. Like they don't have a history of doing stuff like this. Now, I know Merck is a different company, but still, who knows? It's probably one of those things where it's a different company, but probably should have checked that. That it's uh, probably like a subsidiary or something of one of these other ones. So we'll go down here because there's a list. Let's see, additional general allegations against Merck. Merck provided financial incentives to legislators to attempt to make Gardasil vaccine mandatory in all school children. So they're literally buying off politicians to mandate a medical procedure, to mandate a vaccine that they have manipulated the numbers on, that the science isn't out on. They are just buying people off to push that through and mandate that for every single child in school. Merck pushed Gardasil, now allegations. These are allegations as of the writing of this. Merck pushed Gardasil using trusted doctors and third-party front groups. Oh gosh, that seems familiar too. Let's see. I feel like there's a doctor that's been getting a lot of attention, has a pretty big fan base recently, for how trusted he is, even though he admitted he lied and all this stuff. Interesting. Merck deceived regulators and the public by classifying many serious adverse events, which afflicted nearly half of all study participants, and coincidences. Merck manipulated the study protocols to block participants and researchers from reporting injuries and designed the studies to mask any long-term adverse events. So Merck, they purposefully manipulated the study to make sure that the numbers were in their favor to where they could go forward with this. And they blocked participants and researchers from reporting these injuries. And what do we see now? People can't speak up. They cannot talk about the injuries. They cannot talk about the deaths or the side effects or any of this stuff. Even before the vaccine, even questioning the narrative over the past year has gotten people fired, disbarred, stripped of their credentials, left in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt just for saying, oh, this doesn't make sense to me. Or, hey, this isn't what's happened here. That's not my experience. You are seeing people being severely punished just for asking questions or telling the truth. So, and especially when it comes to long-term adverse events. I mean, what's happening right now? We don't even know, because there hasn't even been a study done on long-term events. Merck deceived regulators and the public about its pivotal Gardasil clinical trial. Okay, contrary to Merck's representations, Gardasil may actually cause and increase the risk of cervical and other cancers. Now, that's one that I'm going to have to look into. But I mean, these are lawyers. I doubt they would be throwing this around if it was, if it could come back to bite them. So Merck has concealed, but I still like to double check. Merck has concealed the fact that Gardasil, including its adjuvants and ingredients, induce and increase the risk of autoimmune diseases. So it makes you even more likely to get sick from something. So if you get this, then you are more likely to get something that would be just a like a 1 to 3 day illness for some people could be devastating or even deadly to somebody that has gotten this vaccine. It has made them more susceptible, and their health is at risk now. That a flu could kill them. It's just so sick. And this is, and who are they pushing on? Kids. Kids. Because you can't take it after a certain age. The Gardasil vaccine's harms are not limited to the United States. Rather, the vaccines have injured patients all over the world. In light of Gardasil's, in light of Gardasil's serious and debilitating adverse events, the Japanese government rescinded its recommendation that girls receive Gardasil. And Denmark has opened specialized clinics specifically focused on treating Gardasil-induced injuries, including Gardasil-induced autoimmune diseases. Gardasil-induced adverse events caused the government in Colombia to conclude that Gardasil would no longer be mandatory. So they even went to that step of it is mandatory. So they were forcing these kids to take this vaccine that turned out to have all these horrific side effects. India halted Gardasil trials and accused Merck of corruption after the death of several young girls who were participants in the trial. So you tell me, who should we trust? Who should we trust? Look at this. I'm sure y'all have seen these ads where they just play on parents' emotions and their love for their kids. So Julia's mother, the girl they were talking about earlier, the one who was fine and then she can't go to school anymore. Julia's mother, Michaela, allowed her daughter to receive the Gardasil shot after years of exposure to relentless online print and television marketing by Merck, representing that Gardasil is very safe, that Gardasil prevents cancer, that good mothers must vaccinate their preteen daughters with the Gardasil vaccine. And little did she know that Merck had engaged in disease mongering and used false advertising and scare tactics to enhance Gardasil sales. A year later, Rhode Island mandated the Gardasil vaccine for all school children before the 7th grade. So in the 7th grade, I think they're about 12 years old. 12. So before they're 12, they have to get this. You have got to be kidding me. I mean, this is just insane. So please, people out there that just blindly believe, like, well, they couldn't possibly mandate this vaccine. They couldn't possibly do these passports. They couldn't possibly sell us a vaccine that could be harmful to us. Of course, they did the science. You have to trust the science. Explain this, please. Explain the opiate epidemic. Explain fen-phen or thalidomide or any of these other things that if you are at home during the day, please turn on your local like channel 12 or something, channel 8 or whatever. Your what's it called? Not cable, but you know, the one that you get over the antenna, the free stuff. Like Maury, the stuff that the channel Maury comes on, or the People's Court. Turn that on at noon. See what they're advertising on there. What are they advertising? If you've been harmed due to medical negligence, if you have been a recipient of this medical device, please contact us in this lawsuit. Without fail, all the time. All the time. So let's go ahead. I'm going to check in with chat and see what y'all have to say about this. Oh, Mark Jason Walker's here. Kayla Steins. Yeah, they are. Oh, Jilly Love. Hey. Now, this is what they're doing. And these are all common complaints that I've been hearing lately in regard. Oh, hey, Josh. in regards to the newest one, right? So this is what's happening, and yet these are the people that are getting blamed for everything going wrong. These are the people getting blamed for the economy shutting down, or for this Delta virus, or strain, or whatever, that we have absolutely no information on. It's a playbook. The reason why they do this is because they get by with it. Why change your tactics when it always works? And what? In a couple of years, or 10, 20 years, when they finally get held accountable for the bullshit that they've done, what they'll pay, what, a 5% of what they made off of it? Like what you see with the opiate epidemic and all these other ones? Like, they'll just wait it out and then end up paying, they'll make 500 billion and pay 10 billion, because to the normal person, oh my God, they had to pay 25 billion. Oh my gosh. But they failed to include in that the follow-up of, they made like 500 billion off of this and they only had to pay 25 billion. So why not get some people sick? Why not destroy some lives? Why not kill some people off? Hey, in the end, we made more profit than what we paid, right? And that's all it comes down to. It ain't nothing to do with your health at all. And y'all know this. But I just thought that was just, I mean, absolutely shocking and chilling to see that it wasn't even like, well, they did one or two of the same things. I mean, it's right down the line, fudging the numbers on the front end and the back end. It's so wild. But yet, I am a crazy, kooky conspiracy theorist, for saying it doesn't make sense, right? Oh, hey, Howard. I actually did one a little early, so it's good to see you here. And I'm saying, like, look, if you got information to prove me wrong or otherwise, I'm more than willing to hear it. I am not dedicated to a certain narrative, but there isn't information. They're not using information or logic to get people to take this particular vaccine. What they're doing is they're using emotional appeals, corruption, uh, threatening of job loss, or not getting to see family members, right? They put this, it's the not the strong arm. They're not going to sit, as of now, they don't really want to send in the police to hold people down and stick them with this. It's bad optics. But what they'll do is they'll make things so bad to where you feel like you have to, right? So that's just how they get it. That's how they do it. Yeah, no accountability. Nobody goes to jail, right? There was a news article from one of these big pharma companies about how the ones that started the opiate epidemic here, and they said, well, let them do heroin. They didn't care because they saw that as a good thing, that people were doing heroin, because now people are dying of heroin instead of their pills that they started them on. Hey, Propaganda. Oh my God. If y'all haven't already, please check out Propaganda channel. He does gaming, politics, all of it. So it's a very, very entertaining and informative channel. So definitely check him out. So 3 billion for Vax ads. Yep. Which Thursday saw it on TLAB, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah. TLAB is always watching stuff like that. Like, I don't know how he does it. My husband's the same way. Which, speaking of which, I'm going to be going on with him here pretty soon, because every Wednesday we do a live stream together. So let me bring that up. Hold on. We made a graphic. There it is. Okay. So yeah, we go on there every Wednesday night, usually around 11. So share screen. There we go. Okay, so yeah, he does the same thing. So he follows all this stuff, and he like devotes every pretty much almost every spare moment he has on uh researching everything to do with the past year, right? And me and him both in the beginning, we were very careful. We were making sure that, I mean, oh, how could you possibly do all these things uh, across all these countries if it's not true? Like we just kind of fell for it for like briefly. I mean, so maybe the first month or so, right? And then once more information started pouring in, it was like this doesn't make sense. Well, there's a double standard here, or this doesn't scientifically check out. Like there's all these things that we were just like, it's not making any sense. So he's been on top of this almost from day one. So we're going to be going in here starting at 11 because he just got off work. And we're going to start at 11, do a live stream together. It's open mic. So if anybody's interested, just send us a message. We'll send you a link so you can join in. But yeah, that's later on. And he's in here making faces at me, trying to get me to laugh, distracting me. All right. So, oh, Cannabis Sativa's here too. Oh, yeah, Amanda's doing good. Yeah. Yeah, he's doing good, man. He's resilient. Despite everything they throw at us, he's always got that fighting spirit. The medical establishment can't even get birthing Black mothers correct. Why should we just? Yeah. Oh my God. If you really want to hear like some horror stories about what the medical field does, talk to Black women because they're not taken seriously. They get treated terribly, not to mention being part of the Black community. I mean, they witnessed some of the worst. So, or talk to somebody in one of these poor African countries, right? Where they like to go and test these vaccines. War Media got Dames of Doom going again. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need to get back on there with them. I don't know what's going on. I checked my Facebook. They haven't posted anything on Facebook in like a month or something. So I'm going to have to see what I can do about getting a hold of them. So yeah, that's one of the big ones. I just got so involved in this article. I'm like, man, there's some serious questions here that we need to start talking about. We really need to start pointing out the fact that these companies, and I know that there are people out there doing this, but these companies have a long history of screwing us over. But oh, there was another one I was going to talk about. There's another topic. Now this is more local. I probably should start with that to throw off the YouTube censors, but fuck it, whatever. If they're gonna come after me, they're gonna come after me, So, this was one that I want to cover the one that Tenderlung sent me, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about. I always forget to bring my water in here. Paula Jean, bless her fucking heart. She is part of the MPP now. Yeah, because she didn't learn a lesson from the Justice Democrats, did she? And I knew a lot of people that donated to her campaign. And who did it all get sent to? AOC. And they totally ignored her and her campaign. Second time she ran, dude, she got I've met her. I've spent time with her. I've spent like 3 days with her, getting to know her at this conference. And she even gave me a ride back here. I mean, her roots are in activism and protecting the water. The reason she even got wrapped up in all this in the first place was because she just wanted clean drinking water. She just wanted them to stop poisoning us. She wanted to stop seeing kids dying and everybody dying of cancers and, the poverty and all this. I mean, she knew, and she still knows what's going on here. And she gets so wrapped up in this rat race, political games, that it's like little compromises here, little compromises there. They were never going to let her win. Never. Not when she came out against fossil fuels, not when she's talking about, Medicare for all and actually meaning it, So then she starts doing all these things like turning her back on Assange. You start getting wrapped up in all these political games and forgetting, like, hey, this is how you get to that point. This is how you make a Hillary Clinton. This is how you make a Joe Biden. It's not like you don't go from activism to dropping bombs on children in other countries overnight. It's a series of compromises that gets you to that point. In a lot of cases, not every case. Some people are just fucking psychos, right? They've never had a problem with that, but people like her, that's how they end up there. And it's just like, well, it's for the greater good, or that old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, she has all these good intentions, but she's also kind of morally flexible now because she's so focused on getting in. And now she's in bed with MPP, who we know haven't really done anything up to this point. They keep taking in donations, treating people like crap, and they have no real way of actually winning. Because if they did, the Green Party would have already won by now, or they would have just joined the Green Party instead of making another party, or one of the other multitude of alternative parties, right? But no, none of those parties ever make it on the ballot. Like, even if they do make it on the ballot, we know that our election systems. I am tempting YouTube censors tonight. Just please give me a strike, because I'm like, okay, vaccines, medical misinformation. Let's see, election integrity, questioning the elections. I am just apparently an alt-right like Trump supporter, apparently, even though I don't identify as any of those things, and I definitely don't like Trump. But whatever. I mean, private companies own our election machines. We know that Bernie Bernie voters got screwed. Bernie's doing just fine. Trust me, he's doing okay. He's getting those book sales. He's getting the love and attention. He's the little piggy bank mascot fundraiser for the Democratic Party. He's doing just fine. It's his voters that got screwed over. Trump, he's doing just fine. His voters that got screwed over in this past election, not so much. He kind of got left out in the wind. But yeah, we know that this happens. We know that it happens. And even the people that are still pushing these third, fourth, fifth, alternative parties, they know it happens. We don't have a democracy. We do not have elections. It is a show. It is a fucking farce. American Idol has more democracy than our actual electoral voting system. Like, take that in. Like, you can vote for who you want to be the next singer for the next year, but you have no power to choose your president between the legal and illegal ways of rigging the system. But she's still going in there. And why? Because she raised a bunch of money for AOC before. And what's MPP doing? Because they're real cuddly, like Nick Braun and all them, real cuddly with all these Democrats that couldn't hack it they couldn't play with the big dogs in the Democratic Party, so all these washed up Democrats go over to MPP. And I'm not talking about the people that are volunteering. I'm talking about like the politicians, the people that are running things. They show up to the MPP because they couldn't cut it over there. And then they still tell everybody to go vote for Biden. And this was an accusation that was thrown at one of the people that were speaking up against that party, right? It was thrown at them that they were a Democratic insider. It's like, well, where are these people supposed to come from? I mean, if you're going to join MPP, you're going to come from another party, more than likely, right? More than likely the Democratic Party. But he's going to sit there and accuse this person of doing that when they're literally talking to Democrats and having them speak at events and stuff. They're not MPP members, or they weren't at the time. I doubt that they are now. I mean, Nina Turner, she's running as a Democrat. So who's in with the Democrats? Who had high ranking positions within the Democratic Party? Nick Brana. Who was that? Right? But no, it's these people that are criticizing and not, this didn't come from like a place of like malevolence. It wasn't a place, like these are people that wanted to see the destruction of MPP. They were trying to address legitimate concerns because they really wanted that party to succeed. They sunk all this time and energy into it, and then just to turn around and be treated that way. So yeah, they were really just trying to fix things, and then they get slandered by all these YouTubers that are only interested in what they have to gain from MPP, which I don't know what that could possibly be. But hey, you know what? I guess if your fiance girlfriend is one of the main members, then I guess you have to fall in line, right? Or if you're good buddies with them, with Nick Brana, yeah, I guess you have to kind of fall in line. I mean, it's just weird how much control Nick Brana exerts over these YouTubers. It's just wild to me. I'm like I've seen them go from like really pointing out some truths that got them labeled as conspiracy theorists and all these other things, just for them to turn around and just play nice and roll over and expose their bellies to Nick Brana. It's just wild to me. I don't get it. But hey, whatever. The thing is that look, nothing personal against anybody, any of these people. Their heart's in the right place. I did it myself. I went with the Green Party. I tried to do something alternative to the two-party duopoly, but it's rigged. It's rigged against us always. And like we saw with that Time article, even if the rules are in our favor, if we start to gain traction, they'll just straight up change the rules. They will make sure that they'll tweak it a little bit here and there to make sure that the numbers don't add up. And oh, look, it used to be if you got this many signatures, you can get on the ballot, but oh, we changed it, so now you don't get to. Oh well, we decide who gets to get on the debate stage. So sorry, it's not up to you. That's our choice, and we don't want you on there. That's that's the legal side of it. That's the legal side of it. So yeah, but go ahead, Paula Jean. Go ahead. I mean, she could use her platform. She could get her base, tell them about, what really goes on, why she can't win, why she has to do all these things. She could be real open and honest about it and get the people that have done all this activism and groundwork for her campaign for years now. She could get them on board with this to fight for election integrity. But you know what? Go ahead and split those people up, because some of them are going to stay with the Democrats. Some of them are going to go with her to MPP. So go ahead and we'll see a fractioning like we saw with the Bernie supporters, right? So we'll see a fracture there, and then she's going to lose again. And then we'll see another fracture there. It's just not, we know how this plays out. Girl, get it together. I've tried to help her. I have seriously reached out to her many times, but it was like she did a complete 180 on me when she was talking about all these like she's gonna do an interview. I get it. Like I don't have a lot of subscribers, whatever. If she's gonna do that, nothing personal. I could get that. Like she's got so many hours in the day, right? That she has to spend them wisely and go on where she can get the most reach the most amount of people. Fine, nothing personal, but it was just not just that, but it was just like all these other things that she just all of a sudden, like Assange, like doesn't want to support anything to do with him. Big Pharma went after people that were asking her just questions. I mean, just reacted like crazy to them. So I just, and then she just wants to keep playing these political games. Well, keep playing political games and you'll keep getting political results, which is jack shit. So please tell me, Paul, how this is going to work out again. Because she ran against Joe Manchin. She ran against Shelley Moore Capito. Now she's going to run against, I don't know, I guess probably not Joe Manchin. She'll probably run against Shelley Moore Capito again as an MVP. So please, what little power you had in the Democratic Party, you're going to go over now to a third party, alternative party. And no, that's going to do it because there's even more rules stacked up against them because it was so easy the first and second time. Okay. Whatever. You know what? I hope she does win. Go for it. Go for it. And I'm gonna go rub it in her face, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say now, I told you so. This is why. Now she did more by being an activist, by going out there and questioning the politicians than she ever has done running for office. Because all she's done is create bank for AOC. But that's what I'm going to say about it. No, she just did an interview with um, Jimmy Dore, which I haven't watched yet because you can't rewind any of his live streams. And by the time I found out, I couldn't rewind it. It was already over. Oh, Choosy's here. Hey. So yeah, I'd love to see what other moral compromises she's done in order to go over to the MPP. So that was so disappointing because I really do. When I see somebody from anywhere in Appalachia, I get so excited. I'm like, yes, maybe we've got somebody here. Maybe I've got an ally. Like maybe, I get so excited. I want to help them. I'm like, hey. And it always ends in disappointment. Paula Jean or Ojeda or whoever it is. It's just can't do that. Can't play. Can't play that game anymore. Regular people, yeah, I'll support them every single day. Every single day. Regular people that have no interest in running for a party, that just care about what's going on in their community, I've got their back all day. But these politicians or wannabe politicians, I'm done. Done. That is, it's a dead end road. I was just on S&D and Eric Clapton will not discriminate against unvaxxed. What? Wait, yours in heaven? Yeah, I'm not even subscribed to Jimmy Dore anymore. It's just, if you get something out of it, fine, but I'm just, I think it's boring anymore. From a scale of 1 to 10, the chances of for and Bray do anything. No. And that's the sad thing. Hey, independent left news. Thanks. Yeah, totally. Well, I don't care where you're from. I got your back. But yeah, especially people here. I'm just like, I'm always like, it's my soft spot. I got a soft spot for them. But yeah, what you were saying, Jimmy, was no. I hate to say it. We're not going to get Medicare for all. And if we do, it's going to come at a price, one that is going to be greater than what we get in return. Same thing with all these other issues that are completely legitimate that need to be addressed, like the ADOS community. Everything that's been happening to them for a couple centuries now, right? Their demands should be met. We should help them, but we have no power. We can't get our election system because we have no power. We can't get Medicare for all. We can't get a living wage. We can't get, housing control, like, end homelessness or poverty. We get in hunger. We can't do any of these things because until we can all unite to take back the power away from these people, because as long as there is this concentration of power, there ain't nothing we can do about it. And then after that, we can start actually having conversations about these things. We can actually start coming up with solutions and following through with it. But right now, what are you going to do? Withhold your vote? They don't want your fucking vote anyway, or else they'd be doing something to try to earn it. But they're not. They're not doing jack shit to earn your vote, are they? It's almost like they don't give a fuck what they do because they're not worried about it. None of them are worried about it. That's why they show their true colors now. They just don't give a fuck. The only reason that they don't flat out just like go like full like Darth Vader is because, optics. It makes it a little bit easier for them to keep doing what they're doing. Now, if they would just flat out say, yeah, fuck you, the elections are rigged, I don't care what you have to say, then people would get too riled up. They to go out there and it would be dangerous. So, they'll play the game, they'll do the hybrid regime, they'll give you these little games that you can play, your fantasy football for nerds, like, elections, right? I don't know who's going to win. I don't know, whatever the rich white dude, whoever he picks, right, for his team, that's who's going to win. Because that's how these teams are picked. It's not a democracy. It's just some billionaire weird fuck that gets to pick who's going to be on the team. And it doesn't matter if they're from your area or not, right? Just whoever they pick. And you don't get a say in it. You just get to show up and cheer for whoever it is that they pick. So that's it's just fantasy football. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. But it's sad. Peter Morancy. Google the climate clock. We have less than 7 years at most. Yeah. I mean, God, I didn't even mention the entire environmental collapse, right? Look at my background. Half the world's on fire, the other half is drowning. Yep. Police brutality, bombing children in other countries, companies swindling people out of their paychecks, big pharma killing people for profit. I don't know what to say, man. Not until we can start getting our shit together and working together. I mean, I understand, like, hey, let's come up with a plan afterwards because that's so important. I don't want to go into this blindly. I want people to know exactly what they're in for, what they have to do, what they're going to expect, right? Like, what is the end result going to look like? And the end result is I cannot promise a lot of these things. I cannot promise you're going to get everything you want in a pony and ice cream and well, all I can say is that we will have the power to decide for ourselves. And that's the first step. And I think after that, then we can start healing all these divides. That's why I focus a lot on communities that have been fucked over. Immigrant, Black, Hispanic, pretty much, anybody that's not rich and white. poor communities, because these are the people that have witnessed all of the ugliness. These are the people that have seen all this, and this is what creates the divide, because there has been so much trauma done to all these different communities, and that we can't work together. So we got to start addressing that, like, their needs, and lifting people up, and doing some mutual aid to where we can actually start working together. But I understand the mistrust, because this is a common thing that they'll go out and they'll help people get what they want, and then when it's time for them to help them out with what they need, well, they're nowhere to be found, because they already got what they wanted, right? So this is what's been happening to, like, the Black community for generations now. I mean, they fought in the mine wars, but what happened after that? Right? They're always there to lend a helping hand, but nobody ever shows up for them. And it's like, this is what we have to do to start healing these things that have been happening, to where we can actually, because everybody wants to talk about unity, but we're not actually doing anything for that unity. We're not listening. We're just talking to each other. But we actually have to start listening and helping, because like, sitting there and telling people what to do isn't going to help. Like, you have to be willing to do for everybody else what you're asking everybody else to do for you, right? But I only got 15 minutes now to get set up. Because I have to carry all this, my computer and camera and microphone and all that stuff down here, and get set up while Jimmy's working so I can do my video. And then I've got to carry it all the way back upstairs, get everything set up again. So we're going to get started at 11. In the description box, I have links to, like, I think it's Cash App and PayPal if you want to help out. If you don't have it, I don't want your money. Honestly, I don't want anybody's money. I don't want to be relying on this. I don't, this is just every once in a while I'll do it, but under no circumstances do I ever want to have to rely on it, because it's just icky. I don't like it. I like just being able to talk. I don't, it's gross, but it's there if you just have a couple of bucks, and, and it's not going to hurt you. Please do not ever put yourself in a pickle to help out. That's not necessary. So, yeah, I mean, the best thing is just having y'all here for conversation. Honestly, the best thing that I've ever got from my audience is just, like, information. So, I got to get going, but it was good seeing all y'all. And please, in about 15 minutes, we're going to be set up, ready to go over on Jimmy's channel. So, let me see. Hold on, I'll post the link to that. Oh, hey, Anthony. Oh, Steve's left too. Dang. Hold on. Let me get to Jimmy's channel, and I'm going to post a link to his channel in the description, so y'all know where to find us. But yeah, we just go on there every Wednesday, usually around 11. And well, shoot, how do I get back to it? There it is. Okay. Have some water. My throat is so dry. All right, there's a link to his channel. I know. Hopefully I'll see y'all in a little bit, a few minutes. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate you listening to me ramble on for, like, the past hour, but anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. All right, bye.